Hello, humans. Hello, humans. Artist with the Fro here, and welcome back to the show. Yeah, I'm quite literally just waking up, as you guys can see, and there is some news that I was told of about there being new Endymion cards, new lore cards. So as a result, we're here doing a live reaction to it. I kid you not, I was in the process of making 3 other videos that were lore related, but we're going to take a pause on those and we're just going to talk about some of these new cards. Then I'll make a few shorts and everything will continue as followed. Let's first start off, let's take the bonnet off and let's jump in to YGO Organization. It seems like they have something here. It says enter an age of fantasy with the new Endymion cards. When we were last here, we spoke about the... Well, I'll wait for the camera to focus. When we were last here, we spoke about the... what was it? The Maid Vare Maid of Endymion, and Regulus. So let's see if there is actually some more news. I believe people were telling me that Regulus now has his effect. And there's a couple more cards from the OCG stories that they're going to release. It's going to be kind of odd saying this, but if you guys would like to see more information or more videos, more in-depth reviews of the OCG stories, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I was going to do it anyway. But yeah, let's just talk about it. So, enter an age of fantasy with the new Endymion cards. These are going to be released in the OCG. No pendulums, no spell counters. Does it really count as Endymion support? Technically, this is Endymion / Witchcrafter / Magistus support, but we'll talk about it later. Alright, looks like we got Regulus. Is he a spellcaster or warrior? Oh, he ends up being a spellcaster. Right, Prince of Endymion, Regulus. Level 4 light spellcaster effect monster. Alright, we kind of saw that coming. I thought he was going to be a warrior, but because we know now that this is obviously Charioteer or Prophecy, it's good to see that he's an effect monster. I don't know. I'll put up the image of Charioteer over here. I don't know if he shares the same attack and defense, but if he does, then that's clearly more evidence that this is the same card. It says you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is in your hand, you can reveal another spellcaster monster in your hand, lose life points equal to the revealed monster's level, and if you do, special summon this card. Wow. So at most you'll take 12 if it's a 4-star. If it's anything higher than that, then I don't think it's worth summoning. If it's a 10-star or something. I mean, there's other Witchcrafters you could run, but if we're thinking like Spenta, Vare, Ginny is probably the lowest that you'd have. But alright, interesting card. Free special summon, although you do take some damage. If this card is special summoned, you can add a spell that mentions Regulus, Prince of Endymion from your deck to your hand. I'm going to guess that there's going to be a spell listed later below. First time this card would be destroyed by battle, it is not destroyed. Alright, another weird effect. I doubt anybody's ever going to use that. Ooh, we finally got the actual artwork. Okay. People before were speculating that her hair was going to be blonde. I'm glad to see that her hair is actually the same color. However, this kind of makes it a little bit confusing because if she was a spy, there's no way that Endymion doesn't recognize the fact that this is Liliana, but that's neither here nor there. Let's actually get a little zoom in here. Regulus looks pretty good. He looks a lot like Charioteer though, so they're gonna just keep that in mind. Let's see. All right, Madame Vare. Vare Maid of Endymion. Level 4 spellcaster monster. She's an effect, 500, 1400. I think we read these effects before, right? If a spell card's activated, you can special summon her from your hand. She also has the effect, if she's special summoned, you can add a Witchcrafter or Magical Dimension. Keep in mind, you can also add the Magistus card, because it counts as a Witchcrafter card. The free Foolish Burial. I think it's Lacrima of Light. So that's another card you can add to your hand. The Magical Dimension part, I still don't get. Like, I'm kind of confused as to why you're adding that. Yes, we know that she can teleport, but it's such a weird callback to like an old card. Yeah, she uses Dimension. Okay, there we go, right? It says she mentions Magical Dimension because she uses a spell in a manga called Dimension Magic. I kind of wish they created something new, but it's whatever. Oh my goodness. Oh no. Alright, so we got another Ginny, and she has the same attack and defense. and the same level. All right, so this is most likely the card you're going to be going for with Regulus. But let's see what she says, because this is not Jenny the Witchcrafter. This is Jenny the Maid of Endymion. Level 1 Wind Spellcaster. All right, monster effect. Okay. Let's see. She has the effect that she's always treated as a Witchcrafter card. Okay, that's good. Can only use the first and second effect of this card's name, each once per turn. You know what this also means? I'm just looking at this right now. This also means that this card can be can count as a fusion material for Vice Madam, because she counts as a Witchcrafter. So you can take her and her. Any of these two can fuse with Regulus, but the fact that they're Witchcrafters, they can fuse with almost anything else. Any other spellcaster, rather. Ooh, great effect. If you control a spellcaster monster, special summon it from your hand. Now, everybody's just like, oh, why are we getting that? Free special summon, I'm always down for. Always down for. During the main phase, actually, to be honest, this effect is really good. But let's go on to the next thing. During the main phase, you can target one spellcaster monster you control, banish it, and if you do, special summon one Witchcrafter from your deck except Jenny. I'm trying to think of like what card would that work with? If it's banished, there has to be another card here that could work with that effect. Maybe there's a spellcaster that when it's banished, it can come back. The only other cards that like directly come to mind are like Fortune Ladies, but there might be something else. I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments. All right, let's move on to, remember this was the setting. This card, it's interesting to finally see this in color, but this was the like setting of like the first chapter of OCG Stories, the Magical War Arc. But it's called the Endymion Empire. All right, let's see. You can only activate one card with this card's name once per turn. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. When this card resolves, add one Regulus, okay, or one monster that mentions it from your deck to your hand. The only card that mentions Regulus is Vare. So it's a Vare Searcher, but why would I use that? All right, I mean, Witchcrafter Creation, right? Witchcrafter Creation can search both of these. Let's see, there might be something else better for it. Then if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon one spellcaster from your hand. That's probably the better effect. If your opponent controls a monster, special summon one spellcaster. Any type of spellcaster gets that bonus, so that's probably really what people are going to go for. If a card you control would be destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can destroy one Regulus in your hand or face up on the field instead. Now he doesn't have an effect though that... he only has an effect that if he's destroyed by battle. He should have said something like if he's destroyed once per turn. I think the fact that he only protects himself by battle is a letdown for this. I think that they could have made it much better, because now you're already relying on the spell card, but you now have the spell card and the monster that are both protected by the destruction effect. I think it would have been a little bit more worth it. I'm not really seeing much of a point of playing Regulus, other than the fact that like you do get an extra special summon, but with Vare being searchable, and then any spell card you activate, you can special summon her, and then with the Maid being when you control a spellcaster, you can automatically special summon her. These two are looking to be a lot better than Regulus so far. I mean, we'll have to see what else they have. And then finally, we have the Arrow of Regulus. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn if you control it. If you control a Regulus, activate one of these effects, destroy one monster that battled this turn. That's kind of bad. And then when a normal or quick play spell is activated, negate its effect. Oh, okay. Alright, it's a spell or negate. It's a spell or quick play spell negate. Alright. During the main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard and target one Regulus monster in your graveyard, or monster that mentions it and special summons it. Again, it's tricky, but I'm still not seeing the point of using him. Like, I think the real bonus that will come here is later on in the chapters, and this is again going to be a future video, but we'll talk about some of the cards that they're most likely also going to create out of the Magical War Arc. But we know that Regulus gets a second form, probably his Magistus form if we're really thinking about it. I'm assuming that effect will probably have like Regulus Prince of Endymion extra or Magistus or something like that. and allow him to be special summoned. I also assume it's going to have some sort of like banish effect as well, because that's the only way that I can see some of these cards having some synergy. For right now, the best cards out of this are clearly the Witchcrafters. The second best card probably would be the Spell, and then third and fourth in order are probably Regulus and his little arrow. But so far, it's not really looking like he's the main star of the show, which makes sense because in the story he's not there yet. But it is going to be interesting to see where the rest of the cards kind of stack up. But glad that we finally got the color versions of some of these cards. We're definitely waiting for the effects, especially for Regulus, and now I can change some of the artwork. Looks like I have, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shorts to make. So that's another bit of extra content. And like I said before, there's going to be a longer video, and we'll also start doing the chapter reviews of the OCG stories. So please make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. What do you think about these cards? I'm very interested in hearing some of your responses or your opinions in the comments down below. Let me know how you guys like some of this more reacting content. Like I said in the first video, I think I'm only going to keep it to lore-based videos. And then that's aside. Like, I don't want to talk about every single card. This is not a Market Watch YouTube channel. This is very much more focused on the card lore of the cards themselves. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys again for watching. I've been the Artist with the Fro, and that, my friends, is the show. Take care.